All right, welcome. This is the meal with Warner B. Okay, I am your relationship, I'm your mental health, I'm your addiction coach, and I'm here to talk about mental health, talking about issues that affect men and mankind and people. So the meal. Okay, so I'm here with my guy Curtis Williams in his new studio. And we coming down here to talk about some issues that's going on.
Yeah, he would say something as I'm over here trying to play with these cameras right now. But yeah, Pert is here. You know me, host of the Perspective. We'll be launching that also coming real soon to the new channel, Godsmack. Gobsmack, that's G-O-B, smacked. You got to go look that up. It's shocking and awe. So, that's one of them good things. So, we have some different camera angles going on right now. We're in the studio under construction, as you can see over here. And again, this is not my show. This is Werner's show. So I'm going to put the camera back on him so that we can start our going ahead as I try to get all these cameras angles right. All right.
Cool. So the name of this is the meal, and the reason we call it the meal is because anytime we eat anything, we eat with people we care about. In the Asian culture, they call it oishi. And it's not just about the food, it's about the whole experience. So when I think about meal, I think about sharing something with family, think about sharing something with friends. And I think mental health and addiction, they need to be talked about, around people that we care about. Because it's an epidemic, guys. It's an epidemic. And so one of the things that we have this platform is to talk about things that's going. So it's going to be a place where you can call in and talk. And mental health is pretty expensive. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have insurance or anything like that. So when you can come on here and get some mental health issues, you can talk about addiction, you can talk about family matters, you can talk about relationships. This is a good place to start. So that's why the whole purpose of me doing this thing and having this platform.
Yes, it is. And as y'all can see, I'm over here playing with the cameras. We both on the camera right now over here.
Okay.
So I'm playing around with the cameras while we're doing construction, but again, we're real serious about this mental health situation. That's one of the things that Warner and I share, tremendously important. Myself personally, he's my therapist. So I was seeing so much progress with myself. He had a passion for helping people, so we kind of teamed up together to do this for you guys. He's offering some free therapy. I'm pushing some buttons, and I'm kind of in the conversation too, helping any kind of way I can. We're going to be taking phone calls going forward because it's important.
Right.
It's a lot going on in people's lives that we don't discuss.
Right.
We try to hold it in or drink it away, and we're going to discuss some of those things today. I remember, I want to go back to you for a second, Warner.
Okay.
We were talking about comparison.
Okay.
You remember in our last session,
Right.
and I said how comparison can be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to turn some lights on because I'm kind of dark and I see now.
Uh-huh.
I'm facing the wrong side, so
Okay.
I'm gonna put the camera back on you for a second while I try to figure out this lighting.
Yeah.
But I was telling Warner about comparison and how I felt like sometimes you think you got a dirty house, you really think it's dirty, but it's dirty in comparison to your house because you don't ever go anywhere.
Right.
You only see your house. You don't have anything to compare it to.
Right.
So I'm always at home. I'm comparing my house to my house. I can see every little blemish, every stain on the rug, every little scratch on the wall. I can see it because I'm not comparing it to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if I start going to other people's homes and visiting,
Right.
see some neighbors, I may come home to my house and be like,
Wow.
yeah, this is a mansion compared
What's
to
immaculate, right?
where I left.
Right.
So I'm gonna put I want to hear what you think about that. I'm gonna get this light on it so they can at least see my eyes.
Right. Well, comparison. I think about that as well. I remember me and my wife went on a mission trip with our church. We went to Haiti, and we went to Haiti. You know what I'm saying? And when you go to a place like that, you're thinking how hard it is and how tough it is in America. But when you go somewhere in a third world country, you realize how tough and how hard it is. We kind of come to the thing where I work really hard, I deserve this and that. what I found out about going to Haiti was that everybody works hard. Everybody works hard there, and just because they work hard doesn't mean they're supposed to have certain things. And I think when you rock it back to comparison, we think that because this is what we have, that everything is so hard for us. But you hadn't compared yourself to people who really have it hard. And so I agree with that 100%. Sometimes you don't know how bad it is. So I guess what every time now I take a shower and I have hot water, I realize how grateful I am for it. And I think comparison, like I said, can be a good thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it and it's challenging you, but it also can be a thing that can become detrimental to you if you don't understand. And I think comparison also means you learn to respect what you have, appreciate it. I think comparison can bring appreciation if you do it in the right way. How's that like, Devin?
Hey, that's we gonna need some longer chords, but it's doing better.
Yeah.
You know. Again, we're in the process of doing some setting up in the studio. Warner was so nice to come today, even though I am far from finished. Can you see me now? All right, that's better. Yeah, so as we were saying, those comparisons that we have, and y'all gotta excuse me, it's I'm not gonna move anything else. If you can't see me, we'll just deal with it from that point. But like we were saying, the comparison, you don't have anything to compare it to.
Mm-hmm.
You always in your own head, your own space, your own way. I'm gonna just be honest. It made me crazy.
Mm.
It did. I went from a very social life
Okay.
to having a lot of friends, going a lot of places, doing a lot of things, and then getting into a relationship. You start to see that closeness become almost excluding other people.
Right.
So we started excluding other people. We weren't going anywhere.
Uh-huh.
We lovey-dovey.
Right.
Spending all your time with your spouse. So
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that now,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not saying what I learned, what I knew then.
Right.
Wasn't that smart then. But what I know now, I noticed that a lot of the things I was complaining about had more to do with I didn't have a base to compare it to.
Okay.
And I look back and I say, wow, I was complaining about that, but go over here and it's 10 times more than what you were complaining about. So it's almost like what I wouldn't give to go back to that what I thought was dirty.
Yeah, well, you heard a person say, if I look at my pictures and I was like, I think I'm fat, then I was like, I'd rather be how I was when I was my old fat self than my new fat self. But I tell you what, when you was talking about that, I thought about mental health.
Yeah.
And mental health, a lot of times when people are isolated, they only have their only thoughts in their mind.
Right,
so the thoughts that are in their mind, they perceive them as fact. And what happened, they have no one to compare their thoughts to. And so what happened, they take it as truth. And so guess what, when I meet somebody else and they was like, that's not true, right? That's not how you think, what I'm saying? That's not correct. And what happened now, I got two things. Now instead of me having one narrative, I got two narratives. And because when I'm alone and I'm isolated, I only got my one narrative. You know what I'm saying? So comparison, it comes in different ways. Actually, I was talking to a client today about that same thing. You know what I'm saying? When you're alone, you're the only person there. So all those thoughts you have, you just accept them as true. You accept it because you don't have anybody else. So when you're isolated, that's what addiction does. So taking back to addiction, when you're isolated, it's just you. You know what I'm saying? When you're isolated, you ain't got nobody to compare it to who. The same way with depression. If I'm depressed and I'm just sitting in my office and I'm alone, guess what? I say this is the worst place in the world, but guess what? If I got somebody else to talk to, or I step outside and change my perspective, and guess what? It's not as bad as I thought it was. So comparison is a good thing. It can be a good thing, and it can also be a thing that's detrimental if you don't use it. So,
and I agree with you when you say, now let's go to comparison bad.
Okay.
Going out into the world, let's reverse everything we just talked about.
Okay.
We're just gonna reverse it and say, okay, so you got everything good at the house, and now you are here wanting more or wanting better,
right?
And you just visually doing that.
Right.
You're not really in tune with what better is.
Right.
You just assuming that looks better. I want that.
Right.
And so a lot of times we'll sacrifice what we have because we compared something outside our house that was a bad thing to do. So
we don't know the cost. We don't we don't know the cost it took to get to that.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? We look at somebody, they rich, and then we don't realize what's the cost. But how's their family life? How's their life with their children? What was the cost of it? I'm comparing, and that's how that's how we have so many young kids now with suicide. Bring it back to mental health, because what it is, they're on the internet and they looking at everybody's picture is looking like they're having, even though they know it's virtual, and even though they know it might not be real, in their mind they romanticize, and so they thinking it's real. So if I'm good or if life is good, then I will have what these people have. I will have this car. I can pay my mother's, house off, and do all these different things these people are doing every day. I can be. Look at Anthony Bourdain. You look at him when I was growing. I loved Anthony Bourdain. Not growing up. I was years ago, and I was like, man, he's seeing all these people. He eats meals with all these great people. He's had such a great life. But then all of a sudden, it was issue. It just went off.
We out here acting. We out here acting bad, but we got it. We still good. We still good over here.
So Anthony, I thought Anthony had the best life in the world, and then next thing I know, he's committed suicide. Man, broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about comparison. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking that everything is good, but that's on the mental health side. Same way, with addiction. You're thinking, hey, I should be living a better life, so I need to drink my sorrow away. I need to drink my pain away. I need to smoke my pain away. I need to snort my pain away. You know what I'm saying? Now realizing that, guess what? I don't know everybody's stuff because we don't talk about it. Especially in the minority community, the biopic community, black people, indigenous people of color, we most definitely not talking to anybody about it. So guess what? How do we know? So what facts do we have behind it? And so,
I guess it's at the end of the day, we are really lost, aren't we? When it comes to right now.
Could be.
What we saying? What a lot of us say: go to church, have some drinks. Keep it in.
Yeah.
So we not sharing our pains, our hurts. We think it make us weak to have those discussions with people. You don't want to discuss it with your girl.
Right.
But you're hurting. And when you're hurting, it's hard to be a productive man in society, a responsible leader, a decent, and it's hard to be any of that when you hurt yourself.
Right. When
you feeling like you broke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
see, broken is broken parts, and so what it is, what you got, Curtis, you got a lot of fragmented people, man.
Yeah.
And I heard a guy talk about it. So what you got. I'm fragmented over here with how I feel about my dad. I'm fragmented over here because somebody broke my heart. I'm fragmented over here because I'm not dealing with no grief. And so what happened when you meet me, I'm only like a 35% woman. And so I'm in a relationship. It's only 35% of me, and then my spouse, my significant other, my wife is asking me why you can't give, why are you not telling me about this and that. And I'm telling you everything, but I don't know that I got all these broken pieces.
Right.
And so it takes somebody to help you. Hey man, this part right here, you cover this part up. This part right here, you shut that door. This part right here, shut that door. And so what mental health does, and what counseling does, or coaching, what we're doing here is to come in and say, hey man, open that door and let that person out. Right. You realize that when this happened, you shut that door, because the thing about all that is survival. The nature of humans is about surviving. And so in order for us to survive and to be able to withstand that thing, we have to either go crazy or we fragment ourselves off. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what a lot of times we don't understand. It's not because I can't give you 100%. I just don't know that I ain't giving you 100%.
Yeah, and the saddest part about all that is a lot of us go into relationships broken, and hoping that the other person can give us that other piece we missing.
Right. And
that kind of, it seems, I'm gonna say, I think that's possible. And here's why I say that. You don't know you have love until somebody loves you. You don't know what love is until somebody loves you. You don't know what closeness is until you get close to somebody. So I'm of the opinion that a lot of times we are trying to say, I need to heal before I get in a relationship.
Right.
I'm not going to agree with that. I'm going to say, don't go immediately. Like say you just came out of a relationship. I'm going to say 6 months to a year. Give yourself time. Because you may find yourself, after that 6 months in a year, you may find yourself falling back into missing or desiring that old relationship so much that your brokenness doesn't leave. You feel me? So it's like my car broke down, so I'm walking to work. I'm saving money, but I can't get another car yet.
Uh-huh.
Now, I need a car,
Uh-huh.
but I can't afford it.
Mhm.
But if somebody gave you a car, would you turn it down?
Mhm.
No, you wouldn't. You would take that car. So it's just like that for me. And when it comes to like relationships or love, say I'm broken,
Okay.
I'm out of a relationship,
Mhm.
and I've been alone for a year. I've been alone for 6 months.
Mhm.
I'm not looking.
Uh-huh.
You know, I kind of gave up. But then you start falling back into that, remembering the good times, and then what if love come around and say, hey, like that car, let me give you some love. You feel like you broken, but you do need love.
Mhm.
You need
Of course,
that.
connection, right.
You need what they offering right now.
Yeah.
And even though you're in your brokenness,
Mhm.
I think it may be a good thing to accept that gift of love, and explain to them where you are,
Mhm.
but don't turn it down,
Yeah.
because that may be the difference in you having, coming out of that
Mhm.
heartbreak, heartache,
Mhm.
and staying in it for a long time.
Mhm.
So when people say, heal yourself first,
Yeah.
I'm going to say, take some time off,
Yeah.
but sometimes you need a doctor or a Band-Aid
Yeah.
or a nurse or some stitches.
Yeah.
and them, you don't want to put the stitches on yourself.
I think you need to do a pre-trip inspection too. I think you need to kind of look at, hey, what went good, what went bad, what can I improve on. I think I don't think many people are going to wait to. The thing about that waiting, sometimes people say, sometimes I think you wait, but you ain't doing nothing. A lot of times you ain't working on nothing. You just kind of surviving. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not working on themselves. It's like a person is, you know what I'm saying? They just kind of waiting. I'm gonna wait and get my body in shape. They ain't doing no work. Ain't nobody doing.
No,
You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's a good thing to understand who you are. Look at it back and see who you are. You might not hear, but become aware. You know what I'm saying? Who you are. And that's what I think about counseling. It's about making you aware. Because at the end of the day, you still got to choose to do the steps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's hard, man. And change is so difficult. And so a lot of times it's going back and realizing, hey, when I got like this, this is what I always tell people. If you're an angry person or you mad or you don't trust people, I said, ain't no baby walking around pushing people down, telling me I don't trust people. I said, it came from somewhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if it was the mother, was something happened with the mother, she was like that when she was a little baby. I was like, okay, what was your state? Were you arguing all the time with your spouse or your baby's father or whatever like that? Did he do something to you? Did he push you? Did he abuse you? Were you mad at your mom? So the baby coming out, because the baby feels all that, because in that umbilical cord, they get all that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
So the baby angry, maybe you were angry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just about, and we don't want to talk about those things, but a lot of times those things are the reasons why. A lot, it's so much in that. It's so much has to do with how we are and why we are like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times the thing is that I think, Curtis, is that people just say, hey, that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? So you ask somebody, hey, that's like a person saying, they broke, I'm broke. It's the world, it's the system. Okay, what's the solution now? What is the solution to you being broke all the time? Maybe I need to look back at, do I got any bad spending habits? Do I, this is how I used to be. I was just playing avoid the bill collector. Avoid the bill collector. But guess what happened? After a while, I just got.
They gonna find you.
Well, you know what I did, man? I started answering the phone. And guess what? They couldn't eat. They couldn't eat me, Curtis. And what happened over time, man? And guess what? Now I got a house, man. All this time I just got one. You know what I'm saying? Because I stopped being afraid, man. I stopped trying to, run from my problems, man.
You said a mouthful then, running from your problems. Now, I will be the first one to admit when I grew up, too, and started answering that phone.
Yeah.
And hey, you got me.
You got me.
You got me. Mm-hmm. I'm not running anymore. And I'm going to tell you what did it for me. Going to them meetings, they told me to be honest. They said if you're not honest, you're going to get drunk.
Right. And
that scared me. So I was like, if I'm a liar, I'm gonna start drinking. Wow. And it was like, yeah. And so they was like, take care of your business. For your business, take care of you.
Wow.
So
that's good
yeah.
advice.
So I was like, hello, yes, Citibank.
Yeah.
What I need to do.
Yeah.
And so I was like sending it to them.
Right.
And like you said, next thing you know, credit score is good, life's good.
And you can do that.
And life's good.
And instead of me saying, hey, I always have bad credit, I can't have a good credit score.
You can.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying every situation is the same.
Right.
But I do know exactly what you mean. Once you start taking care of those businesses,
right.
taking care of your business,
right.
your business get taken care of.
Right. And you learn
So-
habits, right? You learn
Yeah.
same way relationship. You learn, hey, if I start learning it, if I'm a little bit nicer, if I listen a little bit
Yeah.
more, maybe things will change. Things can really, but you also got to see it changing.
Yeah.
Like I have people say, well, I'll always be, they were like, hey, I'll always be single, I'll never be married. You know what I tell them? I say, you're exactly right.
That's what
You're gonna you
asking
believe
for
that, you
it.
asking it, but it's faith. It's faith in it. The same way you gotta have faith that you never will, you can have faith that you will have what you call.
Yeah.
I have faith that I'm always be broke. You know, I can have faith that I can not be broke. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
then I can start putting in work. Every day I see myself not being broke, and guess what? Every day I start putting it in. Guess what? One day you look up and guess what? It's some money in your bank. You're like, what is this strange thing in my bank account?
What
you know
is
what I'm
this-
saying? Is this
these
20
numbers?
I'm used to $2. It's a zero behind that thing. It's $20.
These are numbers in here.
It's a $20 in a day, you know, and
Yeah.
and man, it make you so happy to see it. And I tell you what, I started snowballing my thing. And when I paid that one bill off, guess what I did? I took that $20 that I was paying on this note, and I put that $20 with the other $10, and
Yeah.
instead of me paying $10 on that bill, I paid $30, and I paid that bill off, and then I took that $30 bill and paid that bill off, and guess what I did? Next thing you know, man, I was paying $100, and them bills were just
You been
like,
listening to David Ramsey up in here, man?
I don't know. I learned it. I actually learned it when I was selling insurance, man. How to do it. So
Okay.
Dave Rhymes just gets it from somebody else.
Yeah.
Man. But it's a thing that happened. And what Dave Ramsey, man, I really don't care for Dave Ramsey. The way,
Really?
His name. I don't like Dave Ramsey. I don't like how he comes at it, man. You know, I'm all about how you approach me, man. I don't care what you give me. You know what I'm saying?
You don't watch the audit then at all.
Well, you know, I like the other Purtis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't listen to the
He
angry
said,
Purtis.
He ain't watching the audit.
I don't
ladies
listen
and
to the angry
gentlemen.
Purtis.
We understand. That's
Yeah.
that's me and Cosmo.
Yeah.
Definitely definitely understand. You know, it's kind of one of them things where we got to grow up,
Yeah.
and it's hard to grow up, especially when there's a lot of kids around you. So I keep hearing people say, the people you associate with, if you want to say, if it's 10 broke people,
Uh-huh.
you'll be number 11.
Right.
If it's 3 rich people, you'll be number 4.
Right.
So that's what we like to think that.
Right.
That's not always the case, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, you can hang with rich people and you can still be broke.
You can learn a lot.
You can learn a lot.
Yeah, you can learn a lot.
You can learn a lot from them.
Yeah.
Now,
The same way with married guys, man. That's why we talk about the counsels.
Mhm.
You know, I always tell people I might have friends that are unmarried, but I ain't finna go on no trip with you. If you're
Oh,
single.
no.
You know what I'm saying? So I hang around married guys.
Yeah.
You know what I also hang around?
What
You know, I hang around guys that love their wife. You know what I'm saying? Because you always talking about your wife, man. I'm out, you know, I want to see about guys who care for their wife. Because
Right.
that's just how I am, man. I hang around people who doing those same kind of things, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how it is in a lot of things. And so a lot of times we hadn't had good examples. We hadn't had good examples about how we deal with relationships. We hadn't had good examples of how to deal with our mental health and communication. And that's one thing you can learn. Because it's
Yeah.
not a communication. Your mama don't say, hey, son, this is how you communicate with people.
Right.
But you can say, hey, baby, when you talk to somebody, you look them in the eye, you talk to them, you know, you ask them what's going on, you see certain things, and you can learn. And you can, but in a relationship, you got to realize that, guess what? My significant other might not have that. And so I got to have grace with them. I got to learn to, hey, we got to understand where we at before we
Man.
start talking, man, because we two different people. And what happened, we meet up because we like how each other look.
Mhm.
You know, I like how we look, we have fun
Yeah.
together, whatever like that. And then guess what? All that leaves quickly. And guess what? We got to start kind of figuring out who the real person is.
Well, I'm gonna say I ain't gonna say that leaves
Mhm.
quickly.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say what we don't realize is that when you first get that, like you driving down the street,
Uh-huh.
you hungry, and you smell that food in there,
Uh-huh.
and you like, ooh, growling stomach, oh goodness,
Uh-huh.
and you get there,
Uh-huh.
and you waiting for it, you get it, it's delicious, bam, it's fantastic,
Uh-huh.
so good, you go back tomorrow.
Okay.
And the next day.
Mhm.
Now, by the time your mind kicks into, you know, like reality checking, and you start to realize, I've been eating here 2 weeks in a row, and it's not quite as good as it was that first time.
Uh-huh.
Relationships are the same way. You come in and it's exciting and great and fantastic and all that, and we bam, 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 and it's like, oh, I can't believe it.
Uh-huh.
Well, guess what? After you eat that same hamburger for 6 months,
Mhm.
it's not going to be the same most delicious hamburger you ever had.
Mhm.
However, it's still a hamburger that you love.
Uh-huh.
It's still nourishing. It's still delicious.
Uh-huh.
It's just now not the beginning. I ain't never had a hamburger before.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's only, you can only have. It reminds me so much of addiction
Uh-huh.
and how they say the alcoholic or drug addict is always chasing that person.
Yeah, they learning.
You know,
Yeah.
the first time you got drunk, you had such a good time. The
Mhm.
first time you got high, first time.
Endorphins and more.
So,
Yeah.
so now you're chasing that same feeling. And
Unattainable, yeah.
the relationship the same way.
Yeah.
We sitting up here in ooh goo goo gaga love
Right.
in the beginning, and then you're chasing that feeling
Mhm.
throughout the whole relationship rather than realizing, hey, this hamburger is good,
Uh-huh.
but it'd be better if I put some bacon on it.
Okay.
You know, let me add some bacon to
Right.
the burger.
Right.
Let me just add
Mhm.
something to the burger. Now it's a bacon burger. Or let me add some cheese to the burger.
Mhm.
And the same thing we need to do with ourselves as we grow older in the relationship is let me add to myself,
Uh-huh.
whether that be spiritual growth,
Mhm.
mental growth, physical growth. Like we hit the gym, start walking, start exercising, eating better.
Mhm.
You start adding more
Mhm.
to your relationship
Mhm.
so it doesn't become boring.
Mhm.
And one thing I noticed that I don't know how this works for everybody else, but I don't know. When we start meditating, our sex life changed.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so I'm
Well, I think
real
my-
sure why, but
But I think what a lot of it, I guess what I deal with is when all that stuff is not the excitement part of it, it's more about the fact that when they start realizing these certain things, it's like I'll tell you a good example. It's like a person, one of the spouses, one of the members, one of the partners, they say, hey, I tell my spouse that I love them all the time, but they never tell me they love me. So first thing I say is okay, so have you ever asked them why? You know, and so when you ask them why, we come to find out, my mom and dad, that's not what they didn't do that. Now my mom rode a bicycle to work every day, 10 miles. When
Right.
she came back home, that's how she showed she loved. Now my mom, she came every day and she told me she loved and hooked me in and read me a Buxton bedtime story. It don't mean that I'm weak because my mama read me or that you strong because that is just we got different experiences. And so once I understand how you look at love or how you express affection, then we can talk about it. Now, I might have took that two different ways. When I meet somebody else and that's how their parents did, I want that, or I can just say that's my normal. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to seek to understand why. It's not to say, hey, baby, you don't ever tell you don't appreciate me. But then what the other spouse is doing, every day they're getting up to work, and they're coming home because they think that's how you express love. And then the other person saying, hey, I love you every day, and they kiss them on the jaw because that's how they express love. But we realize that, hey, we love each other, but we came from two different backgrounds.
Right.
And so it's about seeking to understand that person and then be understood. And so now what I tell them is that what you do, you communicate. Hey, baby, I need this because this is what I'm used to. You think you can do that? And they're like, okay, yeah, now that's not my normal. I'm not used to that. But since you need that and I love you, I'm going to try to give you some what you need. Now, it might sound robotic at first. I might say, I love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be okay with it. I said, because since it's not normal to me when I do that and you make a big deal about it and you say it ain't real, oh, that ain't real, you don't talk like that, then guess what will happen? Then I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
So we got to work at it. And then you got to be saying that, hey, that's not his normal. He might not can get that to me as much as I think I want it. And so that's that part that a lot of times what we see is that we don't communicate and we don't realize, hey, we like each other, we like how each other look, we changing these different, but we also got to be aware of, guess what, we're not the same. We didn't grow up the same, we got different experiences. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way where, like, if my dad was the guy that did all the cooking, and mom didn't do the cooking, she didn't do it, my mama drove trucks.
Right.
So guess what? If I come home and my husband, I'm like, you want to cook something? He's like, what? I don't cook. My mama cook. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that thing. We got different experience. In your house, your mom cooked and your dad drove the truck. In this house, mom drove the truck and dad cooked.
reverse.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just think it because that's our normal. And so a lot of times we don't look, man. We don't seek to try to understand that person. We just like, hey, you just need to cook. You need to cook because if you don't cook, that's what a man's supposed to do. Man cook. You know what I'm saying? And then we got a problem with it. So we discuss it, man. We talk about it and we try to compromise.
Yeah.
Because over time, man, all that stuff happens, and that's the stuff I see over and over again, Curtis, in couples. Is that fact of them not understanding each other, not trying to understand. You know.
Yeah. You made a lot of good points right there, especially when we coming from totally different backgrounds. It's not like I grew up down the street from you,
Right.
and we were raised virtually basically the same exact way. You know, most of us are meeting our spouses in and out of states, across the country, sometimes the world. But for me, I was thinking about this morning. This is really good. I was thinking about this morning. I was like, why do opposites attract? And this is the answer I got.
Okay.
I said opposites attract because you have so much more to learn from one another.
Right.
So I'm not saying that opposites attract was the true statement. I'm saying it is the extremely best possible case scenario for working things out. So if I'm way over here and you way over there and we fall in love, we got all this to learn from each other, all this middle ground to cover for years and years of compromise and understanding and just love me in spite of, you know, until we get to that center. So when I heard opposites attract, it just hit me. It was like, wow, that would be amazing because you would never get bored if your mind is open to learning from your spouse, you know, and y'all sharing everything like a team. And that's what hit me this morning. It was like, wow, opposites attract because that's the best case scenario. So when you're looking for somebody who's yoked like you, or we yoked together, or we looking for somebody on my same page, boredom fast. Y'all
I gotta say it.
I know everything you know.
Yeah.
We like the same. I'm gonna get bored with
But
you.
usually it should just be something you like. Usually when I meet couples, man, they have a common thing.
Yeah, something common.
But then also they different because, like I told somebody, I said, you married your exact self, man, you would probably hate them. Because they will get on your nerve, man. I said, so you need
that right there.
Well, usually people don't, man. They usually don't meet, but it is good to have something different. It is good because you sharpen each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you get a blade, you know, two sharp blades, they don't sharpen each other. You know what I'm saying? So you want something that got like something a little different. I always tell people, I said one thing about my wife is she called me on my stuff. She's smart. I like smart. I always like smart women, and I like women who call me on my stuff. And I'm not a smart mouth, you know what I'm saying? But she was strong. She got a little old sass to her. You know what I'm saying? But I like that about that because she's gonna tell me the truth. Because if I'm being anxious or I'm being excited, she's like, you know, you're being anxious. You know, you're being a little harsh. When the kids were little and I'd be talking to them and I wasn't sensitive, she'd be like, sensitive. She'd do like that. And I knew then that I was being a little harsh. She'd be like Baby Pain, sensitive. She'd do like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Baby Pain, that was our show, man. But she just, you know, and that's the thing you want, man. I want somebody, but we care that, you know, she had a good heart, man. She has a good heart. And that's the thing that I love through all that stuff is that little part in the middle. You know what I'm saying? That she loved me just with all my stuff, all my flaws, and I think that's what it's about. You know, they see all your flaws, they see all your things, they still care about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? We broken, man. We are broken people. And everybody who think they ain't, we just broken in different ways.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? We just broken in different ways.
And you know me, I'm finna go back to what I found to be the brokenness of generations. Okay. Generation X. Come on, let's discuss them crack years, man. Because you know, hey, we're going to just not do commercials today. Okay. Because, you know, we working on getting the commercials together. Yeah. But the crack years, you know, no matter how we try to paint it and make it look pretty, let's just be real. All of us know somebody. Somebody knows. Everybody knows something that was going on during them years that was not for kids' eyes. However, it was in the kids' eyes. Because once you were on those drugs like that, it was no cares. Nobody was shame anymore. Right. They didn't care. They was running the street, and I think that rolled over into what we have now, like this no shame generation, and they're doing everything like we're gonna do it on TV. You know, hey, we're gonna record it. We ain't even gonna try to hide dumb. Record me breaking into this store.
It's respect. You said no care, but it's also a lack of respect. And I'll give you a prime example. When my daughter was in school, I was sitting in the car, and it was, you know, I was, you know, like the cheerleaders and the people like that. They were people who kind of like was the, you know, they was kind of like the leaders of the school. And so I walked by, and the little girl was talking so nasty, man. And other little girls, and they was all talking so nasty, and they walked by, and my window was down. They was like, "Don't you see that man over there? You talking like that?" And they were saying something about, I ain't gonna say the word they said, something about what ladies do, have or whatever like that. She said, like, he old enough, he know about that. And looked at me and said that, man, and walked on. I was like, wow, it's just such a difference that, you know, in my life, I would have, when I saw, even if I was talking crazy, even if I was saying stuff or cursing back then when I used to
Right.
curse, and I would have said something like that, you know, when I saw an adult come in, I immediately would have just changed my thing. Like, oh, how you doing, Mr. So-and-so? She
Or
said,
we would get hit in the mouth.
you know what she said? She said, I'm talking about because I'm a stranger, though. You know what she said?
Right.
He know what that is, and kept on saying, and I was like, wow. I was like, but you saying respect, but I think, I mean, you saying shame, but also it's just, it was a loss of that.
Yeah,
It was a
well,
loss of that.
I
It was a loss
definitely
of that.
agree with
Yeah.
lost respect. And here's my thing. I was in Atlanta, and you know I'm yes sir, yes ma'am. I'm Mississippi
Right.
all day.
Right.
So I'm yes sir, yes ma'am.
Mhm.
But I'm noticing my friends from New York, New Jersey,
Uh-huh.
they like, man, we don't say that. That's that slave stuff.
Yeah.
I ain't saying no yes sir, yes ma'am. That's that slave talk. And I used to listen to it, and I'd be like, man, that's respectful to our elders.
Right.
And I was kind of like trained to say yes sir to everybody,
Right, right.
so that you don't mess up when you're talking to your elders.
Right.
Just go and tell the kids yes sir, little sirs, little ma'ams.
Yeah.
Go and practice on them too.
Right.
So I'm real frequent flyer miles when it comes
Right,
to
right.
yes sir, yes ma'am.
Right.
But here's the thing. How many times have I not been beat up by the police because of that?
Mm.
How many times have I been smelling like it?
Yeah.
And they said, Mr. Williams, go home.
Right.
So we can talk all day about yes sir, yes ma'am, slave talk.
Mhm.
But I'm going to say from experience,
Oh yeah.
as an adult at 50 years old,
Right.
yes sir, yes ma'am
Right.
has gotten me a lot further
Yes. Most definitely.
than that slave talk mentality.
Right.
Because the people who don't say yes sir, yes ma'am,
Mhm.
guess what they at?
But it stands out also. My wife is a teacher. You know, I worked in the school system
Yeah.
before. I remember those kids, man, who were respectful. I'm gonna remember those. Even when they act up, I'm gonna remember that one to say, you know, I said that's that mannerable kid there. That's the one that
Right.
got good manners. You know what I'm saying? And I had a friend who was the same way. He used to say all that stuff. You know, my kids say yeah, no, and it sounds so horrible. He used to hear yes, no, yes, you know. And I was
Right.
like, you know, and I was like, yeah, man. I said, but it's, you know, it's your choice. Like I told them, when a lady comes in, I stand up, you know, I get my seat up, and they're like, you know how to do that? I said, well, you know, that's fine. I said, but that's what my mama raised me. I have to do it. I'm sorry. You might not, you know, want me to do that. I said, you know, if I open the door and you don't want me to do it, I'll politely close it back. I said, but I still got to do what my parents instilled in me to do.
That's how I was raised.
I just had to do that. I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I'm not mad at you for being that way. I politely close. I'm not slamming you up in the door. I'm not going to slam it on you. I'm going to just politely put your door back. I'm sorry. My son went to Washington, D.C. They went on a trip down there, and they said that's what they was doing. They got up and laid the seat, and the lady was like, I know how to sit up. You don't have to open my seat for me or something like that. I don't need you to do this thing. He's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. I said, no. I would tell my son, I said, hey, man, and in those up countries like that and up north, I said, they don't like that, man.
Yeah.
So it's okay. He's like, Dad, all I did was try to get out and give her my seat. She's like, I don't need you to do my seat. I don't need no man. And I was like, well, you know, I said, baby, it's just different. Everybody has a different way of, you know, looking at life, man.
Now, let's go to that right there.
Uh-huh.
She says she don't need you to do it.
Uh,
Okay. See, they need to quit that, because that mouth right there is gonna get so many women. Though I'm gonna say, they are affecting other women's lives with that mess. Because I'm a door opener, I'm a chair puller outer, I'm that guy, and I enjoy doing it. But I'll tell you this: show me any type of manliness or independence, and I'll let that door swing on you. Tell me one time, don't hold the door for me. Bet your sweet ass, I won't hold it for you. But then here's the turnaround. Now I'm being disrespectful to you because I'm doing you like you said. You know what I'm saying? So when I say women need to check that, y'all like they spreading I don't need a man attitude. I don't need you to hold that door for me. Well, there's a gang of women out here who appreciate it. So you one or two, shut up. Y'all one or two that don't want the door open, how about you beat me to the door then? You see us both walking. Why don't you jog your ass up there and get that door before me? Because if I get there first, I am opening the door for you. But then again, I open the door for you.
right. Yeah, me too.
You know,
I was
if I open the door and we talking, go on in. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Right, right.
It's like I'm here. It swung this way.
Yeah.
Guess what? If I elbowed you and went in, to me that's rude.
Right.
So if I grab it this way and it swings, I'm going in.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like when I'm with a dude, it's different.
Yeah.
But if I'm with a lady, if I open it, I'm gonna swing out the way and let her go in
Right.
first. That's how I was raised.
Right.
So when people try to say I don't need it, well, guess what? You don't need. I don't need to change how I was raised
Right.
for how you were raised.
Right.
And why am I always the one who need to change how I'm talking to you? Why don't you change how you listening to me?
Well, we could. We could be both ways. But I think the same way other people stand up for their sounds. Hey, I'm not gonna stop doing it. If you tell me that,
Yeah.
you tell me that's bad, then I'm gonna say, hey, cool. I'm gonna step out the way and let you get to do it. But I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna continue to do the things. Hey, I told myself, if my mama saw me, if all of a sudden she saw me not open that door, she's gonna say something to me.
Right.
So guess what? I'm gonna continue doing the things that I was told.
And
I told my son
ain't
too. I
thinking
said,
about
baby, you ain't did nothing wrong. So you go ahead and do what I see. You understand it. Because I tell you what, cultures are different. When I was at All Point, I remember we used to always say, "What's up?" We see a guy, we say, "What's up?" It's like speaking.
Yeah.
And there was some guys from New York one time, and they was like, "Man, every time y'all came," he said, "Before I came to the South, man, y'all cats." He said, "Y'all cats really nice, man." He said, "Cause man, we say what's up, somebody get ready to fight. In our culture,
Really?
that's what they say. He's like, what's up? What's up with
Oh,
you?
what's up, man?
What's up with you?" And so when we say what's up, we
What's up?
saying, "How you doing?" He said, "Man, at first when I first came here, I thought y'all guys were ready to fight because I be like, what you gonna do then, man?" He's like, "No, man, we saying, hey, how you doing?
What's up? How you
man?
doing?"
What's up?" They say they hate it too. They say, "What's up, B?" They say, "What's up?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they say, "Hi, I hate it if you're saying that. What's up, B?" Yeah,
Well,
yeah, man. It's just cultures are different, man. Things are
Yeah.
different.
So just like that,
Yeah,
we don't think that our households are different when we raised.
yeah,
So from one family in Tennessee
Uh-huh.
to a family in South Carolina,
totally different.
y'all get together.
Right,
Be prepared to build those bridges
right,
and climb those mountains
right.
of distance because y'all are not raised the same. You don't see things the same way. And there's no way, unless you were looking in their window the whole
Right.
time they were growing up, you know how they're going to react to certain situations.
Family dynamics, man. Yeah.
So I'll jump out and be the first one and say, man, bad mistakes growing
Right,
up,
yeah.
bad decisions being
Right.
made, in my feelings,
Right,
thinking I'm doing something that makes sense,
right,
only making sense to me,
Mhm.
selfish as hell.
right.
So I'm like on the journey of healing.
Mhm.
If you're not calling yourself a problem or finding problems with you,
Right.
you ain't healing.
You're not. You
You
can't
know,
heal, man. Can't.
so-
And then everybody's normal is different.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people don't know it. I always bring it back to the what you call it. It's like the dressing. If you at home and the only dressing your baby was your mama dressing, you think that's the best dressing in the world. You go to your girlfriend's house one day and you eat some dressing and you were like, what is this right here? This is the best stuff I ever ate my whole life. And you go back home and you eat your mama dressing and it's just they like powder to you now. Because you ain't never experienced nothing. To you, that's your normal. That's
Right.
what's good to you. Just like I'm saying, dating. We talking about the dating the girls, and all she ever seen was violence. And that's why sometimes when somebody stays with somebody with violence, you're basically teaching that child that that's okay. Because when you ask them, why you stay with daddy? If he beating you like that, your daddy beat me, but he loved me. So in their head, they was like, hey, when somebody loves you, they can beat you. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not teaching my child that. Or like I told my kids, I said, you always had peace in your house. So if you ever get in a relationship that ain't peace, remember this. You didn't grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can live in a place with peace. You don't have to experience peace because that's not your normal. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we don't teach our kids that. Or if we see that something is bad, we're actually teaching them that's okay. And so when we get in relationships, we have to do that. And that's what I'm talking about, that complications, man, or that not knowing, and we be in a different relationships and we don't know. That's why you get these people who run away because they like, hey, is this real? I can't believe that you can be in a relationship and it's not. So guess what? They start doing self-sabotage. You talked about that before.
Yeah.
We sabotage because we thinking, hey, it's too good to be true. This
Right.
can't be right.
Right.
So I got to do something to mess this thing up because this person's going to change on me one day and then I'm going to be stuck like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what counseling is, man. We deal with people like that all the time because that's reality. That's real life, man.
I think we gotta go to a more forgiving area. We got to get to that more of a forgiving people.
Okay.
We got to be able to argue and make up and treat people really like they family.
Right.
Like you'll always be my brother.
Right.
You'll always be my sister.
Right.
How come we can't say you'll always be my wife or my husband?
Mm.
You know, like no matter what your brother does,
Yeah.
he's still your brother.
Yeah, your brother.
You know,
Can't take it away.
He did something terrible. Guess what? I'll see you at Christmas at Mama's house.
Yeah.
And y'all get to Christmas at Mama's house. Y'all talk about it, and then y'all realize we weren't seeing it the same way.
Yeah.
Holding it in. Now y'all back good.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't speak for 3 years, but now y'all back good.
Right.
Because you'll always be brothers.
Family, man. Yeah.
So how about if y'all, you know, like grandma and granddaddy, I've heard about this in relationships. I ain't never experienced it myself.
Yeah.
But they say husbands and wives are together, ain't had sex in a year, 2 years,
Yeah.
3 years. Like, I don't know what that's like. But clearly, they were friends enough or something enough.
Well, you want to keep it true. They said what happened.
Or for the children.
But you hear the history of it, man. You hear what happened. They said a lot of times it was so bad that they was away from each other so long. They didn't believe in breaking the household up.
Yeah.
So it was so long that they see two parents in the household, man, that they refused to allow their kids to grow up not knowing their mamas and dad. I know my grandma like that. You know, my granddad, I didn't know they were separated. But they was together by the time we got back together. But come to find out, but granddaddy got sick. Grandma came, hey, moved him back into the house, man, and she took care of him. You know what I'm saying? So it was a difference, man. It was just a difference. And a lot of times we don't hear those whole stories. And so a lot of times, because, you know, history was that, especially in the black community, keep the family business private. And we don't know those, but we need to know because guess what? We got to know them stories of, you know, the good and the bad, man. You got to know all the good stuff. You got to know the bad stuff. And I know, I like history, you know what I'm saying? I'm a history guy. And people are like, oh, yeah, this happened. I said, yeah, don't romanticize it. Yeah, but this also happened. And this, I said, all that together makes the story.
Right.
You need all the parts of the story, man. You need the good and the bad, the triumphs and the tragedies, you know, all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't appreciate it much. You're just the fastest person in the world, you know what I mean? But guess what? I remember I'll tell you a little story, a quick story, man. I got a friend named Kelsey, man. That joker, he could beat me in everything real fast, man. There was two things I could beat him in. He couldn't beat me in wrestling. I'll tear him up wrestling. He was double jointed, man, so it was hard to get him. I just pick him up and slam him. But me and him could run, man, but he was a little bit faster than me. So he used to beat me every time we ran. He beat me. But what I would do, man, every day I would train, man. I put ankle weights on and I would run. So one day, man, he still beat me. One day he came out there and I beat that joker, man, running, man. And it was the best run in the world. He's like, man, you want to race? Look, never race him again. I beat him that one time. I would never race him again. But it was such a good race, man, because I worked up to it, man. I worked up to it. You know what I'm saying? So when you work hard at something, man, it's a better experience than if I just was just naturally fast. You know what I'm
You
saying?
try to throw that into relationships like if you came into it and everything was beautiful and hunky-dory, easy breezy, beautiful, but if y'all had some challenges and y'all fought through some things, y'all broke up, y'all got back together, y'all fought, but then you 65 and y'all together, and most of your friends are single. That means something. Y'all build a foundation that's sturdy, you know, and that's the
kilos on that thing.
That's
the kilos on.
And that's the things I look at is at what point are we going to get back to being forgiving? Like people be asking you, I hear a whole lot of stuff, you know. Would you go back to your ex? And they're like, hell no. And you see that all the time on Instagram. That I probably would, you know. I've dated out. I've seen what's out here. Nothing. For you know, personally.
Right, I got you.
Unless there's a miracle somewhere waiting. I'm okay with I would try that again, you know, because I've grown, I've learned, I'm sorry. You know, I'm messing up. Right. I ain't perfect.
You got some appreciation now. You develop it in you develop it in time though. You looking back retrospect you learn some stuff, man.
So I personally and this is for me personally, I have never dated anybody that I look at as an enemy today. You feel me? That's
a good thing.
You know,
that's awesome.
Like none of my exes, you know, some are married. I'm happy for them. Not an enemy. Whether or not we're in close contact or not, not an enemy. If they need me, they know. They can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, anything. They know that I got your back. You know, we used to date. Like we not together. Right. But I still wish you well. I'm not wanting you to fail. Right. So for me, it's like if the opportunity is there and we both single,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you try it again
Mm-hmm.
if you're both single?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Because you've grown also. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
we're not the same person.
I have people sometimes like that, clients like that, and they get married. You know what I'm saying? They get married
Yeah.
again because sometimes they grown. Sometimes you're immature.
Dude.
Sometimes you're thinking different, man.
That's what I said. Going to therapy, I've learned a whole lot about myself.
Right.
Saw myself,
Right.
saw my issues, trying to address them.
Yeah.
You know, and reflecting, I think is something we have to do more of.
Yes, yes.
We have to reflect more on our part, not what they did,
Exactly, man.
not what you feel like they
Right.
did. Go look in the mirror for a second.
Right.
Actually, go look for a couple hours.
But can you change something about another person? You can't.
No, you
The
can't.
only person you can change is yourself.
Is
So what you're
yourself.
saying, if you go and reflect it on yourself, I can't work on nobody else. All I can work on is me.
Yeah.
And if it ain't nothing but me working on my reaction to it,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? How I react to things. You
Now,
know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna say that every time you working on yourself, you're not gonna find fault in them.
Of course.
You
right
know,
there. Human.
If you finding faults in you,
Yeah.
then keep working
Right.
on you.
Right.
But if you know, I'm saying, like, I'm not sitting here saying, look at you and see what you did
Mhm.
for him to hit you in your eye.
No, no.
You know, I'm not
Yeah,
finna do
not that
that.
far, right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because first off, he shouldn't be hitting you.
Period. Right.
Now, if you did something to get hit, like
Right.
hit him,
Right.
did you leave that out the story?
Right.
So I'm saying violence doesn't beget violence in a relationship for me. I'm a man.
Mhm.
That's a woman.
Right. Right.
You know. So for me, it's like I'm running from her before I hit her.
Right.
Because, you know, we some big dudes.
Right.
No way I'm hitting her.
You're not- you're
So,
not,
you know,
yeah.
I'm going to take off running. So I'm not sitting here and saying that, you know, whatever they do to you, you can take it. No, I'm not saying that.
Right. Of course.
I'm saying that at certain levels of a relationship,
Yeah.
we have to start looking at ourselves as children.
Right.
I'm learning you, you learning me.
Mhm.
We get mad, we get angry, we yell, we fight, we throw stuff.
Mhm.
Then we calm down,
Mhm.
and then we sorry,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry about it, and then you make up. And then if you're wise,
Mhm.
go to counseling
Mhm.
and try to find out what triggers these things
Right.
in me. Because like you were saying, we were all raised different.
Right.
I don't know what your mama was telling you growing up.
Right.
I don't know what your daddy was telling you
Right.
or showing you.
I don't know about your family
Right.
dynamics. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Because if it's 5 of y'all in the house and you was the smallest, in order for you to be able to get heard, you had to be really loud.
You had to be the
And
loudest.
so you became loud. And so now I'm in a relationship with my husband, and he lets me talk, but I'm still loud because that's my normal. And then, like you talking about, but if you come in and my husband loves me, he's caring, and he gives me grace, which is undeserved favor, he said, hey, baby, you don't have to get loud with me, I hear you. And then
Right.
she's like, okay, but now you need to, then you said, no, baby, you don't have to do that, you know what I'm saying, I hear you. And after a while, she was like, okay, he loved me, he hear me, I can maybe, listen to myself. And so I might still have a tendency, but now I look over there at this guy that love me, and I can
Yeah.
calm down. And that's what happens. People see you and like, when you change, yeah, I have.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can but now I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be on defense, and I'm gonna be selfish when I'm not safe. And so
Yeah.
my job is to why you don't feel safe. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, that's that part people don't want to understand is that, I react because the whole thing of human behavior, man, is about self-preservation. And I do things, even when we're talking about shutting down and compartmentalizing ourselves and fragmenting off, it's about protecting ourselves.
Right.
Once we learn how to protect ourselves, it's different.
All right. Well, I guess we are getting close to the hour point,
Yeah.
and it looks like we having some technical cameras.
Ooh.
They are telling us
Mhm.
enough.
Mhm.
But I still say it's been a great show, man. We over here now.
Okay.
We're gonna hope she stays on until we can close this out. But yeah, this is again the meal. This
Yeah.
is not a journey into mental health. This is the meal.
It's the meal.
So I'm not gonna take us out.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Thank Curtis for being here. Hope you got something out of this, what we talked about today. And I love to share more meals with you. So you come back and we will most definitely have another meal prepared for you.
Oh
Thank
man,
you so much.
I'm gonna need you to say that again. I'm sorry. I
That's
was
okay.
over here pushing the wrong buttons.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
Hey.
that was me messing up over here. I'm sorry. I was trying to
Okay.
fix something. So we go do that again right quick.
All
and
right.
Let him take it out.
So this is the meal, and thank y'all so much for being with us today. Thank you, Curtis, for being with us. Hopefully you got something out of it, and we have another meal prepared for you next week. So if you're interested in mental health, relationships, addiction, please come back and share a meal with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
And hey, thank you for the under construction new studio.
Right.
We are, but we dedicated to this mental health thing. So thank you again, Mr. Warner, for having me on your show.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man. Curtis,
You know.
thank you for having me in your studio, man.
Hey,
All right.
we'll see you guys next week.
Next week, guys.
Y'all hold it down.
All right.